here is the dilemma for Democrats. Their young people, their key constituency, not only don't like their own civilization, they like the wrong one. They actually think Hamas is a liberation movement. They chant for the Houthis. They're chanting, "We will honor our martyrs" at Yale. They're looking for love in all the wrong countries. At an AOC Bernie Sanders rally in Idaho last month, someone threw a Palestinian flag over an American flag, and the crowd erupted in approval. What should have happened after that is one of the adults on stage should have told their young loyal followers, "This is not a symbol of freedom."
At some point, one of the adults in the room should have told their starry-eyed followers that this isn't freedom's finest hour, right before Bill Maher detonated at Thanksgiving dinner. He didn't just clap back at AOC and the Democrats. He unloaded a full-scale verbal barrage. Apparently, patriotism is now a thought crime. If you assumed politics couldn't descend further into chaos, Maher grabbed the mic, lit a fuse, and lobbed it straight into the progressive echo chamber. Hear it before social media tries to cancel him for the 47th time.
Vaporizing New Jersey, Democrats would point out how the death lasers were disproportionately affecting low-income communities and people of color, and AOC would tweet, "Stop demonizing the Martian X community."
Was Maher in philosopher-comedian mode. Precise, sardonic, and surgical. Not the red-faced, in-turn-scolding version. The sarcasm cut cleaner than a guillotine, and his target never saw it coming. The man who spends half his career mocking conservatives turned the flamethrower inward, torching the progressive wing of his own political playground.
That seemed to be the voice of reason in that party these days.
No question, and he was 100% correct when he said it on air the other day, and I couldn't agree with him more. The fact is, you don't see them marching in the streets or storming buildings in support of Laken Riley, who was murdered by an illegal immigrant, or for Edon Alexander, who is now rescued from captivity.
To be clear, Maher didn't just poke fun at Democrats. He went nuclear on their crown jewel AOC, and the larger cult of left-wing hopelessness. It was like watching him set fire to an effigy of Uncle Sam. But the progressive edition, the reaction, a teeth-grinding, soul-draining performance art piece that defines modern progressive patriotism, or more accurately, its total absence.
And the Democratic Party keep encouraging and not rebuking the idea that America is cringe and the people who run Gaza are great. The Democrats are doomed. Alyssa Slotkin's right. Liberals are weak and woke, especially the white ones, and they indulge all sorts of nonsense from their kids. So talk to your children and remind them, you don't really want to live like your heroes in Hamas. All the you do all day, it was all made in America. Your smartphone, your Grubhub, your freedom to bitch about America, that's all Americans.
It wasn't a political critique. It was a televised funeral for common sense. Maher called out the holy trinity of leftist politics: self-righteousness, performative victimhood, and the tireless mission to cancel America as if it's a bad Netflix show. In this world, joy is suspect, misery is currency, and public wretchedness is an Olympic.
Now let's get to the Democrats. Okay. Now here's the problem for all the people who are upset about what the Republicans are doing. This was in the New York Times of all places this week. Democratic parties. Many Americans say they do not believe the Democratic Party is focused on the issues that matter most to them. So if you think all this Trump stuff is going to go away because the other party is going to come in, well...
In Maher's book, loving your country doesn't mean wrapping yourself in an eagle costume at a monster truck rally. It means understanding nuance, recognizing America's scars while still valuing the freedoms that let you complain about them on Twitter with imported coffee in hand. But these days, waving the flag is treated like a hate crime. He dismantled AOC's ideology without needing her in the room, framing it as a rejection of a narrative that sells despair as
to keep it real. Senator Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan says Democrats are, quote, weak and woke and should get some goddamn alpha energy and need to retake the flag. I gotta say this.
Hating the country that gave you freedom, fame, and a verified account is just a little ungrateful, Maher suggested, in the way only an equal opportunity offender can. He didn't have to say AOC's name every other sentence. Her activist theater fingerprints were all over the backdrop. What he was really railing against was the smug, ever-outraged posture that treats brunch menus as cultural battlefields while pretending patriotism is the mark of a radicalized...
For Democratic politicians who keep it real, Senator Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan says Democrats are, quote, weak and woke and should get some goddamn alpha energy and need to fucking retake the flag. I gotta say this. I love this new trend where politicians say, fuck! And shit!
Maher, the original liberal with a nonsense allergy, highlighted the absurdity of calling America fascist from the comfort of free speech. It's rich, he noted, to see anti-capitalist influencers cashing brand deal checks while railing against the system. He wasn't mocking patriotism itself, only the way it's been twisted into a taboo word. On the left side of the internet, liking America now prompts concerned DMs about
Serious person. She's a former CIA agent. You know how every streaming action movie now is about a soccer mom who used to be in the CIA? Okay, that's really her. So, we should listen to her because she's right. Lady Deadpool is right. Democrats should reclaim the flag and then get it clean because someone's been humping it.
through the political theater, the way some treat America like it's Voldemort, unspeakable, irredeemable, and yet a golden ticket to influence. He didn't need to yell. Just a smirk, a camera, and decades of watching the left cannibalize itself were enough. His critique targeted the new progressive brand, perpetually outraged, exhausted, and allergic to
I think there's a big difference between woke, but words migrate, and it went to something else. I think there's a big difference between an old school liberal and a woke person. You say progressive Democrat. How do you describe this?
I didn't leave the label. It left me. After it happened on October 7th, I was really knew that that whole progressive stack would be blasted apart.
How do you explain that, if you can, that the people who consider themselves the most liberal have abandoned Israel for the people outwardly say they want a genocide? Why do you think that is? And will this split?
Democrats' updated marketing pitch. All complaint, no vision. A moody TED Talk dressed up in progressive buzzwords. Maher's question was blunt. How is this supposed to win people over? Telling voters their country is irredeemable doesn't inspire. It drives them toward the guy who at least pretends to like them. He shredded the obsession with symbolism over substance, the preference for mural debates over infrastructure fixes, and the addiction to hashtag revolutions over real ones.
For the Democrats, they look like sanctuary city hypocrites. They were the ones who said, look, we're the compassionate people, everybody should get a shot here. And then when they started sending, the quotes from Eric Adams, this is the mayor of liberal New York, this issue will destroy our city. The governor, if you're going to leave your country, go somewhere else. Keep walking, is from the governor of New York. They put out a flyer that says New York is one of the most expensive cities in the world. You are better off going to a more affordable city.
Daring to sound thankful, Maher was practically tried for heresy. He knows the drill. Critique the left from within and get labeled a centrist sellout. But he's not after clout from keyboard revolutionaries. He's defending a flawed present worth improving. His message: gratitude isn't betrayal, patriotism isn't fascism, and cynicism isn't a governing strategy. In an age where common sense is considered radical, Maher just said the thing no one else would. Not a takedown but a wake-up call.